6 months of sprinting, and guess what happened to my mid-50s body? Why sprinting? Because it trumps running, and it's the #1 exercise for building muscle and also for fat burning. Today I want to share with you why sprinting combined with walking is my favourite exercise. If you could only do one exercise, the one activity giving you most bang for your buck, sprinting would be the one to choose. It's the exercise I'd stick with if I couldn't do anything else, because it fits in so well with my dog, who is also my self-appointed personal trainer and accountability buddy, aren't you? If I could only choose one fitness activity, sprinting would be the one, because it delivers maximum benefits in minimal time, and it's effective for all ages of people. People carry on sprinting into their 70s and 80s. If you can still walk, then you can learn to sprint. And it doesn't have to be, we're not talking fast, we're not talking Usain Bolt, just as fast as you can run. For those people who can't walk, you could use activities like swimming and cycling on a stationary or even a recumbent bike, the ones where you sit down, instead of actually sprinting on the ground, because it's anything where you can go all out for just between 10 and 30 seconds. Does that sound like something that you need to know more about? Are you time poor? Well, who isn't? But you need to do something, right? So keep watching. Let me introduce myself for those of you who are new to my channel. My name's Emma Voysey and I'm 56, and this channel shares the story of my personal transformation. I was a disgruntled, frumpy, overweight, postmenopausal, exhausted, food addicted, and with a lifelong eating disorder, food addicted woman suffering with major gut and joint pain. The gut pain, gut bloating, just could never get to the bottom of it. I thought I was gluten intolerant. Was it dairy? Was it this? Was it that? Was it XYZ? Was it ABC? It was just like a guessing game. And brain fog, pausing in the middle of sentences to try and collect my thoughts and, remember the word that eluded me. Having been passionate about my health and fitness, and all my life, this was a huge disappointment to me. And like so many people, I thought I was healthy. I couldn't have been further from the truth. And I'd been trying to fix myself for over a decade at this point. That was me by my early 50s, and a totally different woman to the person you see in front of you today. I turned my health around, starting from January last year. I then joined a program in May called Primal Bod, and I still continue to improve week on week, month on month, every single month. I don't even believe anymore that my age, my lifespan, has anything to do with my health span. Society in general does seem to meekly accept that we're just going to become decrepit as we get older. We're just going to have to take medication. We're going to be in pain. It's just an accepted norm, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm here to prove to you that this doesn't have to be how it's going to be for you. And if that sounds intriguing, keep listening. We're going to cover today the incredible benefits of sprinting. Stop, you take it. We're going to cover today the incredible benefits of sprinting. Chorus of angels. Why does sprinting work, and what's so different to just jogging or running? Sprinting engages almost every muscle. It builds muscle and it burns fat. Just 6 to 10 seconds of all out sprinting can get you more out of breath than most other exercises. It releases these myokines from your large leg muscles, which are chemicals that promote fat burning and lead to muscle growth. And unlike long distance running, which can lead to muscle loss, sprinting helps preserve and increase your muscle mass, preventing age-related sarcopenia, and especially reducing the dangerous visceral fat that collects and accumulates around our internal organs in our viscera, which is this really toxic, hidden, dangerous fat that's inside us that we can't even see, and in most cases people don't even realise they've got it. Sprinting will reduce that as well. It's the most effective way to reduce it. And I promise to keep this simple, so no more big sciencey jargon. My own sprinting journey you're too strong. I've only been sprinting regularly for the last 6 months. I started in August 24, thanks to the guidance of the amazing Candy Fraser, the Primal Bod creator who introduced us to sprinting as a challenge in the group in her programme last summer. And here is a picture of Candy. And also the incredible Dr. Sean O'Mara, who's a friend of Candy's, who studies visceral fat and its health implications. Dr. O'Mara discovered that sprinting, rather than what he calls durational exercise, such as jogging or running, was an effective strategy for reducing visceral fat, along with cutting out processed foods and adding in various other protocols. Dr. O'Mara carried out a study for over 7 years for the National Science Foundation in the USA, observing over 6,000 patients using MRI scans to look at their visceral fat levels. And since then, he's set up his own clinic, and you can now join his program, which is an online program as well, called Alpha Bod, which will take you through the steps you need to know to get rid of your own visceral fat. And if that's something that interests you, I've left a link down below in the description. I had to stop jogging when I was 40 because I just had such bad knee and ankle pain. I just couldn't do it anymore. But sprinting has been transformative because it's only ever for short, brief bursts. But it's not that long, intense over a long period of time type activity like running is. No more knee or ankle pain. And now I sprint with my dog and I do it every other day. I walk in the days in between, and I walk and sprint on the sprint days. I wear my weighted vest for my walking on the non-sprint days, and I focus on maintaining strength and mobility as well as building muscle. Sarcopenia becomes a serious issue as we age, where you see older people just shrinking, literally shrinking away, and ending up, if they can actually end up being quite skeletal. But sprinting helps maintain your skeletal muscle mass, ensuring that you stay functional and independent in your later life. It promotes functional strength for things like getting up out of a chair or in and out of the bath or carrying shopping bags or climbing stairs over just endurance. I encourage my clients to switch from distance running and actually transition to a combination of walking and sprinting instead. You can go into gyms and see all shapes and sizes of people running on treadmills, or you can see people pounding the streets the world over trying to lose weight, using running as a way of weight control. They're just not maximising their ability to burn off body fat or to gain muscle, because long durational exercise causes stress to the body. It elicits a stress response. We think we're being chased by tigers and we're going to die, so we keep running, we keep releasing stress hormones, and those stress hormones lead to locking down your body fat so that you can't lose it. They're just not maximising the ability to burn off that fat or to build and gain muscle. And I know this is an unpopular truth for many people, and people don't want to hear it, because running releases endorphins. It makes you feel great. It's cake. It can be completely addictive. But you are not necessarily doing the best for your body or your chances of living to an old age, healthy old age, pain-free. Whereas walking, on the other hand, teams up beautifully with sprinting. You just inject a few fast, all-out bursts of power into any regular walk. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need expensive kit. You don't need a gym membership. You're just going to get outside, breathe the air. It's very cold out here today. I'm breathing very cold air, and I really need to put some gloves on. My dog loves it when I burst into a fast run and I go all out, and he races me, and he always wins because I'm not very fast at all. And that's the other thing. It doesn't matter how fast you are. You are not racing anybody. You're just going as fast as you can go to get into that completely out of breath, feel like your legs can't run another step, then you stop, then you recover. So I raced him, he wins. A few seconds later, we are walking again and throwing his ball, and I'm getting my breath back to letting my heart rate come back down to normal. And that's what you want to do in between every sprint, is completely get back to baseline. You don't want to be still half out of breath, so that you can do the maximum with each little sprint that you're going to do. If you're new to sprinting, obviously you need to start gradually. And I'll repeat that for effect. Start gradually and always warm up. My mum decided to start sprinting a few months back, and the first time she did it, she tore a calf muscle, and then she was off. She couldn't even walk for months. Super important to warm up properly. I go for a walk, and I walk all the way up the hill, probably for the first kilometre before I even do my first sprint. Make sure your muscles are warm. You can do some stretching once you've done a walk. You can even do some light jogging, whatever gets the blood pumping. And this is obviously to avoid injuries. Aim for 6 to 10 sprints every other day, allowing full recovery in between. Obviously, if you're achy or sore, you can stretch out the days, give yourself another rest day, even if you only sprinted once in the first week, because sometimes when you start sprinting and you haven't done it for a long time, it uses all your muscles. It can really end up making you very sore and achy. So just start with 4 to begin with. Don't even go for 6 to 10, and that's quite a big amount of running. 4 sprints. If you did 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, that would be a perfect way to get started. It just depends really on your current level of fitness and how long ago it was since you last broke out of anything above a snail's pace. There's a current fact being repeated on social platforms internet-wide that most people haven't broken into a fast sprint since they were in junior school or something along those lines. And whether or not that's true, has nobody really ever had to run for a bus or run after a child since they were wearing those gloves on strings? I can't quite believe it, but there you go. Mix it up, vary your sprints. Some days you can sprint for 10-second intervals, and I just count in my head. Other days do it for longer. Nature thrives on variability. Don't get fixated on strict numbers. We all wear Apple Watches and Garmins and all of these devices for counting and tracking everything. But we get really anal about our step counts and our goals set by some random computer. Just mix it up. Keep it interesting and it will be effective. On to safety tips. If you're going to sprint on the flat or uphill, don't sprint downhill. It's quite unsafe, and unless you absolutely have to, really best not to run downhill at all. Just go uphill for extra safety, or do it on the flat, as I say. You don't have to be on a special running track. When you're sprinting, especially if you're sprinting uphill, your heels literally just kiss the ground. It's not the heavy pounding effect that you have when you're on the flat with running for a long period of time. So sprint on flat or uphill surfaces for safety, and consider wearing minimalist shoes or barefoot shoes to promote a more natural foot movement. What are minimalist shoes? We're talking zero drop or barefoot shoes. They don't have to be the fancy pants, expensive kind. They've got very popular recently, and they can run into the very, very expensive. Last year I just bought some cheap ones. They were less than 20 quid, less than 20 euros, and I used to throw them in the washing machine when they got grubby. Wore them without socks, and they worked absolutely brilliantly. More like the old-fashioned plimsolls we used to wear when we were kids, rather than the very heavily cushioned and padded trainers that we wear nowadays. I like this quote from Joe Rogan. He says, 90% of success is just showing up. Get there and start working. You're not going to feel perfect every day. If you've watched this far, I thank you. Like and subscribe, and also share this video with a friend that you feel may benefit from knowing about sprinting and what an amazing exercise it is. And drop me a comment below if you'd like to follow my journey and get my updates and become part of a community of people just like me, people seeking a simple, effective way of getting back to peak health and enabling us to grow old pain-free and medication-free. Let's get out there, start sprinting and feel the transformation together. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now. Come here, 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 what's this?